Steve Adubato with my colleague Mary Gamba. We're now joined by Kathryn Badger. That name sounds familiar. Kathryn Badger is Director, Total Rewards at CentraState Healthcare System. Kathryn, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Steve.
Now, Kathryn, on our broadcast, we disclose all kinds of things that are potentially perceived as a conflict or an issue. Do you, in fact, I mean, I feel like a prosecutor right now, do you have a relationship with a very high-level executive on our production team?
I do.
Would that be Elvin Badger, our director?
It would. Your Honor.
Right. Oh, hold on. Before we talk about serious leadership issues, what makes Elvin not just a great leader, but a great husband and father?
He sees things, I want to say he sees like the big picture of everything. He's always like 10 steps ahead of all of us, and he really keeps us, I don't want to say in check, but yes, he helps keep me grounded, keep us all kind of in check. He's amazing.
Wow. Can you get my wife here and ask her the same question?
It depends on what day it is, right, Steve?
That's true.
No, what hour it is. Kathryn, tell us about the work you do and how it's connected to leadership.
Sure. So I am the Director of Total Rewards, and I am the lead for strategy, communications, and compliance for benefits, compensation, and also retirement plans, things like that for our employees. So in that respect, I have to lead that function and our team to really be able to bring the best in class things and benefits and comp and everything for our employees.
Kathryn, before Mary's going to jump in a second, but Mary, this is interesting. Mary and our 9-10 person team and our production team at the Caucus Educational Corporation, Mary is not only the executive director, but she's the de facto head of HR, meaning we don't have an official HR department. I'm curious about this. HR has evolved dramatically in the last 5-10 years. It's a very different function. How so?
I think we've really brought a more, I would like to say, humanity to it again. I think they put the human back in human resources, especially after the pandemic. We really had to take a step back and realize that these are not just worker bees. These are people with home lives and parents and children, or even, loneliness issues at home. So I think everyone had to take a step back and bring wellness to the forefront, which has been a huge factor since the pandemic, really bringing everyone's mental health, emotional, physical, full body health to the forefront and in the workplace as well.
So important. Mary, please.
Kathryn, how have you found you needed to adapt post-pandemic, but just even in general over, as Steve said, the past decade, when it comes to the needs, the wants? I've read a lot of studies, especially tied to the work that we're doing, that what employers may think that the employees want may not necessarily be in direct correlation with what those employees are looking for. So have you found a top 1, 2, 3, I'm a new employee coming in, I'm sitting in front of you, I'm looking for a job. Tell us what is most important to employees in 2024.
I think while we think or we know compensation is important, but also I think feeling valued is huge these days. Adding value and making sure that what I do as a person, as an employee here, is adding value to the company, that it's recognized. And I think also we sometimes as employers, as bosses, forget that employees want to know that there is a future for them, that there's growth happening here, and that I can be whoever I want to be, or there's pathways, some kind of succession, something that I can do in the future.
Mary, follow up on that, because there's an expression, I stole it, and I always forget to cite where it comes from. It's a quote from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. Mary, you ever hear me say it's hire slow, fire what?
Oh, hire slow, fire fast. Yes, we've had Steve and I have worked together now going on 24 years. And I like to bring that up mainly because, again, Kathryn, as you were just talking about, Steve has been very flexible, very giving when it comes to requests for what each of our team members needs. But even despite of that, sometimes people leave. Sometimes you bring somebody on board and they're not the right fit. So that is something that Steve and I have talked about a long time, is we have to be much more intentional, much more very, very thoughtful as we're hiring new people. as you are hiring new people, for somebody watching this who's out there looking for a job, they've got their resume out there, what do you look for in that candidate that's saying, yeah, they are definitely CentraState material?
Or someone hiring, both ways, right, Mary?
Exactly.
When we're hiring, I think we need to always focus on the full person and say, is this person our material? Is this person going to really add value? Are they going to be flexible? The people who say, well, that's not my job, that's not my function, that's not who you kind of want to hire.
We've been there before, Kathryn, and that does not. I love one time years and years ago, I'll withhold names. I had said to one of our team members, I said, oh, would you, I really need some help with XYZ project. And I remember he said at the time, he was like, well, how much more am I going to get in order to be doing that? And that was just the wrong answer.
And a lot of people are thinking that way. And I always say, I go back to when I first started in HR, I got well, back then they didn't call it this, but stretch assignment. It had nothing to do with my job. It came from the head of HR, and I had to figure out how to solve this problem. And I figured it out. And I think that's what really boosted me in my career in HR, is always saying yes, always would be willing to learn, always wanting to grow. And I think that's the best kind of candidate to hire in any field, in any company, any industry.
Kathryn, let me make this really tough on you, okay? So there's a chapter, I'm very uncomfortable promoting my book, but in this book, Lessons in Leadership 2.0, the tough stuff, there's a chapter, and it asks a question, but in the chapter, I try to answer the question, and the question is everyone a leader? And I make the argument that everyone on a great team, not a mediocre or average team, on a great team, everyone has to be a leader of some sort, regardless of their title, regardless of their position or their place in an org chart. Do you believe that everyone needs to be a leader of some sort? Or can we be the best as an organization with people who do and wait to be told what to do? I know that's complicated, but I think about that all the time.
Oh, I love that. I think I never thought of it that way, but now that you mention it, I think we all can be leaders, even, on great teams. I'll even say mediocre teams, because even if you're not leading people, you can lead a project. You can lead.
You can lead yourself.
Right. You can lead yourself. Very good point. You being proactive and doing your job. You don't have to wait for me to tell you what to do. So yeah, that's a great point. Anyone can be a leader. We all have it in us to do it. We just have to bring it out each day and be intentional to do the work.
Mary, do you think we can get Kathryn to work with it? No, I'm sorry.
That was all part of our master plan. Don't tip your cards.
But Mary, how many times have we had people say, I'm not, see, Kathryn said it's in someone, but it's our job as leaders at whatever the means at the top of an organization to bring it out in people. How many times have we have people either say or imply, I'm not, don't try to make me a leader.
Exactly. It happens all the time.
Wow, that's unfortunate. To your point, we all have it in us. We can do it. We just have to want to.
Yeah. A quick follow-up on that, Kathryn. When it comes to leadership, and again, I feel like, sorry, this is another somewhat loaded, tough question, but do you believe that men and women lead differently, or that we need, because you're a woman leader in healthcare, I'm a woman leader on our team, do you feel like we have to lead differently? Is there a difference between the way that men and women have to approach their leadership style?
Oh, good question.
What program do you think you came on to, Kathryn? It's nothing but.
I should have known better. I hear you all the time, and I hear you guys.
Kathryn, we have nothing but hard questions. I just don't have any answers. Go ahead. Go ahead, men and women in leadership.
I don't think they do lead differently. I'm trying to think over time how my leaders have led me and helped me to become a leader and to be able to do my best. And no, I think everyone kind of comes from, again, a place of humanity. As long as we can remember that we're all human and we're trying to do our best and we want to learn, men and women can do the same type of leadership or have the same type of leadership style, in my experience. Well
said. Let's do this. Kathryn, stay right there. I want to thank you officially for joining us, but is it possible to bring in someone behind the scenes who is directing the show as we speak right now? Kathryn Badger, our director. Alvin, can you come in right now? Alvin? I asked.
I'm so tired of the show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. What, multitasking is not in your job description? So, Alvin, I asked Kathryn, about you, what makes you a great husband, father, leader? A great wife, mother, person, leader for your wife, for Kathryn.
So I'm very lucky to have married Kathryn and to have met her. I don't think we work. I think we work side by side. I push her, she pushes me. She's pushed me in my career. I've pushed her in her career. We raise the kids together. We're always on the same page most of the time when it comes to the kids. Most of the times, I'm the easier parent. She's the one that's a little more stricter than I am. But I think that we make a great team.
And dare I ask, in our home, there's one CEO, and I know it's not me.
It's not me. It's not me.
You're not. Hold on, Mary and I have worked with organizations where there are co-CEOs, and I never am convinced that co-quarterbacking or CEOs work. Are you Kathryn? Co-CEOs of the home?
He's COO. I'm the CEO, and he's a COO.
That's perfect. I love that analogy.
Our operations are 100%, and I just kind of help lead that, ensure that we're going to the goal.
You're the strategic.
Quick story, Steve.
Go ahead, please.
I was with all of my sons this weekend, and I was looking to go buy a new iPhone. And I said, you know what? I think it's time to buy a new phone. And then my son was like, "You better call mom." And I was like, "What do you mean? I have a job. I make my own money." He was like, "You better call mom. When you come home, you better call mom."
I love that.
It is.
So you know what a CEO is.
Yeah, the COO has to check with the CEO.
Yes.
And in our company, Mary, I've gone from being the CEO to working for you somehow. I don't even know how that happened.
Oh, only on certain days, Steve. Most days you're the leader. Sometimes I just need to nudge you a little bit.
Yes. Well, listen, Kathryn, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure this was not what you expected when we asked you to join us.
Great.
We learned from you. We enjoyed having you, and you're welcome back on our series anytime. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
And thank you for Alvin. We'll be back. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
That doesn't make any sense.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 30 years in public broadcasting. Funding has been provided by NJM Insurance Group, New Jersey Sharing Network, Rutgers University, Newark, Newark Board of Education, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Citizens Philanthropic Foundation, the Adler Aphasia Center, Veolia, and by Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, and by ROINJ.
NJM Insurance Group has been serving New Jersey businesses for over a century. As part of the Garden State, we help companies keep their vehicles on the road, employees on the job, and projects on track. Working to protect employees from illness and injury, to keep goods and services moving across the state. We're proud to be part of New Jersey. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.